This cyber standoff continues. We don't know what is going to happen in the end, and the end will be 2 p.m. tomorrow. Anything can change. The scoreboard can change compared to what is happening right now. And we do this live. All the cyber battles and all the streams you see in our channel, they are live. Right now is 4:28 p.m. and according to the schedule, I have Eugene Dzihanau, another representative of our partner, EPAM Security. Hi, Eugene. I cannot hear you, Eugene. Connect. Can you hear me? Yes, we can hear you now. Well, Eugene, following your name, you're related to Russian roots. Can you tell me, you prefer to speak Russian or English? We can speak Russian, but professional topics, it's much easier for me to communicate in English. It's going to be much easier.
We have a parallel translation for all the content we publish on our online site in both languages, Russian and English. So, Eugene Dzihanau, EPAM Security, and we are going to talk about the holy grail of cloud security. Eugene, as I understand, that will be your presentation, so I may a little bit relax, right? You're going to show some slides.
Yeah,
so
I will
go
do
ahead.
The slides. Yeah. Let me know when you see my screen.
I do.
Right. Let me minimize this. Okay, so today I will talk about cloud security and what I call holy grail of cloud security. And before I start, I want to introduce myself quickly. I come from regular development background. I was a developer for many years as a database developer, full stack developer. And I developed products, I developed software as a service platforms. But the more I worked with software, the more I thought about non-functional requirements, about software excellence. And that where I went into a lot of security topics. And with that, last several years, I work in security, focus on security topics. Leads a significant portion of EPAM security practice. And everything that I will be talking today is coming from real experience with many clients.
А вот что-то здесь меня зажало.
Okay, guys, you're on air. All right. There is a background noise, guys.
Тарелочки вот они, да? А вот это что такое?
Что там за фоновый шум?
All right. So with what I would like to say is that I have this hybrid skill set of application developer, cloud developer, and security specialist. So before I start, I would like to say that COVID changed a lot of things in our life, and that has increasing effect on the business and on the cloud adoption and the speed of transformation, digital transformation that happens in the world. And first casualty of COVID is network secure perimeter. Pretty much the network secure perimeter idea is a rudiment, and it will go it's a thing of the past. And the first days of COVID showed how absurd this idea is when everybody moved out of the office. And same thing happens with on-premise environments, and speed of migration into the cloud the speed of migration into the cloud is increasing. And the cloud adoption and digital transformation, those things increased in speed 3-4 times. When we talk about cloud security and potential business impacts, these are very familiar things that you don't want in the organization. Is brand image impact, loss of customers, loss of trust of customers, and direct financial losses. This is what those risks are usually these regular things that could happen in any environment, but in cloud security is the same. And the only thing that COVID made a lot of trends more prominent, a lot of problems that existed for ages, and this just became a perfect storm for infrastructure and security teams, because cloud adoption goes full throttle 3-4 times faster than before, and the technical debt that is accumulated over the years is still there. How cloud changes the whole approach to security? A lot of times when I talk to security specialists, they have this approach like, we have so many data centers, and cloud will be just one more data center where we extend our security policies, where we extend our security standard that exists on-prem, and be done with it. Nothing could be much farther from the reality. The thing is that cloud changes operational model, first of all, and the decentralization of functions and close collaboration between teams are necessary. Why is that? Is first of all, we need to remember why we went into the cloud. And old ways of working, manual reviews, like long wait for provisioning of infrastructure, long wait of security reviews. So those are things of the past. It's completely different model how you need to operate in continuous integration environment, in multiple owners in the cloud. And depending on chosen infrastructure abstraction layer, be it infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, or software as a service, a lot of security controls and concerns are partially or completely handled by cloud services provider. And it's really important to understand how the cloud security services provider integrates security functions in the platform itself. All the three platforms from the top providers are very different. They are architecturally different, and how they operate is different. But what is common is that it creates a foundation for your cloud security, because first of all, as I said, many functions are taken off the plate, and other functions, the cloud security service provider actually provides you the ways of doing automation integration, of taking care of the rest of the security functions. About traditional perimeter we spoke. The usage of containers and serverless actually allows you to build much more secure environments, but they also come with challenges of its own. So when we look at the cloud, the most the three top critical issues I would highlight. First of all, is misconfiguration of the cloud platform and wrong setup. This is on the large scale, especially. This is a first problem that the organization needs to solve. I know that this conference looks at security from attacker perspective, but before you start to attack, you need to make sure that there is no easy ways to get in. And misconfigurations create those easy ways to get in. What's the point of trying to penetrate to employ a penetration tester if it's fairly easy for anyone to get into the system, because many things are just made public, and many secure configurations are not enforced. Same with unauthorized access, same with insecure applications and APIs. And business asks, is our data in the cloud safe? Are we ready to release all the time? You need to be able to release at any moment of time. And that makes this idea of bringing security into secure development lifecycle as mandatory. Most technical people ask, what about our network? What about our databases, identity access management? How well we're securing those domains? Are we compliant with standards and regulations? These are the questions that the cloud security program will answer. So this how it's normally structured. And we come in with cloud security assessment, and we look into what is already done, in which state the organization is, and most importantly, how the cloud adoption program goes on. Because security in the cloud is very closely connected to the cloud adoption. Is this a lift and shift? Is this cloud optimized application portfolio, or cloud first approach? That makes a lot of difference in how security operates in the cloud. Next, we normally find several vulnerabilities which are very critical, like, for example, resources that are made publicly available, or anonymous access that is allowed, or login and audit that is not enabled. Those things need to be addressed first. And then we develop continuous cloud security posture management. And that includes all kinds of domains, from network, identity access management, all configurations, and codified security and automation for security posture management. We integrate security activities and SDLC. This comes both infrastructure and applications. Next steps is monitoring, logging solution, and security operations center. So you have design time security, kind of when you create your workloads in the cloud, and you have runtime monitoring and operations security. Centralized dashboards, governance solutions, this provides visibility. Auto remediation comes in very end, because this requires a lot of maturity already. And of course, preparation for security certification. So these are the domains that we normally at a very high level. We look a lot at data protection topics and network protection, and identity access management, configuration management, audit and logging, and provide recommendations, roadmap, and customized for this organization, for the levels of risks that this risk tolerance for the business goals of that organization. All of this need to be taken into account. So let me walk you through how. So the report will be, of course, very detailed and after the assessment. But let me show you kind of executive summary for what we normally find in large enterprise clients. First of all, stakeholders. Like a lot of times we don't find enough stakeholders in the security program, and this is really, really important. Either those programs are driven by security teams or cloud or DevOps, but very rarely they have all the stakeholders that are necessary. And those are not just security and cloud and DevOps. You need to bring application portfolio stakeholders and business to the same table, to the same alignment in the organization. Otherwise, it will be very difficult to adopt a mature cloud security program in your organization. As I said, many issues in cloud configuration. And also, not only that the visibility of those issues need to be provided, but we need to focus on quick feedback loop to developers and DevOps. Because the business moves at agile speeds, the updates into production come in several times a day. You just don't have the luxury of providing feedback in a year, like a regular security program does. This needs to be integrated in the developer's lifecycle and in the application development. Missing monitoring and audit. This is one of the biggest findings in a lot of places is, misconfigurations, but what will happen if you want to control the blast radius, you want to detect the intrusion. This is very important. Identity access management gaps. This is one of the things that you need to think about zero trust. You need to think about, what is the replacement for that network perimeter. And identity access management is a new perimeter. You control your access on every endpoint, on every API, on every application. This becomes one of the biggest issues in the cloud security. And also, identity access management has dual impact. It also allows your customers to get in. You need to make sure that legit users can get in very easily. And this is the requirement from a modern business. And visibility and cloud security compliance, I spoke about this a little bit. If this were top issues that we find in, for example, in in the client that we have, like how do we address this? First of all, we implement a continuous cloud security posture management program. And the thing is that depending on the risk appetite, depending on the regulations, and depending on how rigorous security program will be, the organizations chooses desired security posture. Sometimes you need to customize these controls, but the important thing is that the security guardrails need to be automatically enforced on lower environment and through the whole CI/CD process, and monitor it on production environment as well. And feedback loop should exist between production environment. If you still see issues in production environment, there should be feedback loop. You don't just fix an issue, you fix it and implement automation that will prevent this issue at scale and at any point in the future continuously. So this is a fundamental shift from assessments and point-in-time security into continuous security in the cloud. And this is the solution that could be implemented with very different tool sets, but the idea is that the cloud security configurations are monitored continuously, and any kind of misconfiguration, the solution can prevent. Same with integration of guardrails in CI/CD. You need to think about both infrastructure and application security at the same time. The thing is that the trend is that the infrastructure follows the application. Infrastructure as code became a standard. DevOps became a standard. Now, security need to become security as code. It also need to integrate in all the processes. The term of DevOps, I did a lot of cloud migrations and a lot of I still remember early stages when DevOps was not very widely adopted word. So the security as code will eventually become very wide recognized, same as DevOps. It's a same trend that happened in traditional infrastructure. This happens in traditional security. So let's take a look at it's just sample security maturity roadmap. Don't treat this recipe for your situation, and that's just made on Azure so that we can as an example, right? So on first stages of maturity, people implement Azure Security Center and third-party tools for monitoring of cloud configurations. Also, Azure policy is implemented at the same time. Now, on kind of second maturity level, I would say people start to use Azure blueprints, the baselines, and integrate things into CI/CD pipeline. Now, when we talk about vending machine or auto remediation solution, then they come next. And if you're familiar with DevOps concepts, you create a vending machine that, let's say you have an organization with 500 applications or 500 projects, you want to have this standardization across the board. So whenever you deploy one more cloud workload or start to design this pipeline, you want to have vending machine which does everything for you. For example, Azure, create your Azure account, create your CI/CD, create your space in Git, and everything together, right? But security controls need to be integrated in the whole thing. And the last thing is that requires a lot of maturity is auto remediation. You cannot do this in low maturity environments. But then what happens if somebody tries to introduce insecure configuration? You could monitor this, but you could automatically remediate. Why is this important? We measured that it takes about 2 seconds for public resource to be discovered and attacked with automation with bots. So if attackers move at the speed at such speed, you don't have the luxury of spending hours or days or minutes even for auto remediation. In matter of seconds, only robots or automated automation can help you. I give some insights in tech stacks, but for Azure, it's a secure DevOps kit for Azure, a very powerful thing. Azure Security Center, Azure Policies, Azure Management Group, and Azure Blueprints. Similar stacks are available in the AWS and GCP. And also third-party tools like Prisma Cloud, DB Cloud, Dom9, Cloud Custodian, Cloud Checker, and I can go for at least bring 10, 20 more different tools, but you got the idea. EPAM also developed, for example, a package for Cloud Custodian that automates the checks in GCP. If you know the product, it's originated from AWS, and we found very little that it can do for GCP. So what we've done is developed those automated checks, made sure that all the technical controls from regulations, popular regulations are covered. And this is the foundation for our GCP configuration management. Now, what I want to say is let's take a look at Azure as a sample Azure security roadmap. It's not necessarily will be for your organization will look, the security roadmap will look the same, but this is just an example coming from security assessment that we saw in the beginning, coming from that kind of issues that we observe across many organizations in the industry, in many industries. This is how we could approach Azure's cloud security. I'm just saying Azure just so that I can refer back to technologies, but pretty much the same happens for any cloud. So we come in and say, okay, let's do initial scanning, let's do gap assessment and prioritization. It's an important step. A lot of people ask, why do you do this if we are exactly the same as other companies? Not necessarily. The assessment and roadmap will need to be tailored to the business, need to be tailored to the goals of organization, need to be tailored to maturity in the cloud. It's important to have this in sync. Then we create cloud security roadmap, but not just pretty pictures, but real approaches, real solutions for every domain, and draw architecture diagrams for all the things that we discover. How to mitigate, how to remediate. Then a lot of things that if, for example, Azure Security Center is not enabled and no monitoring is there, we turn these things on. We turn on login and monitoring. We remove like if we find any kind of exposure into internet, be it management ports, storages, databases, anonymous access, things that are very, very critical and very easy to do, we remove it in first 30 days. And then, let's say 90 to 180 days, what do you do? You go into implementing those guardrails across all the security domains. You integrate Security DevOps Kit for Azure. You enforce key management solutions. You enable Security Operations Center, or at least make sure that if Security Operations Center exists, a lot of times it doesn't know about cloud, or security teams thinks they are monitoring cloud, but what you're trying to do, you emulate the incident and see how the organization reacts and test it. Then enable identity protection and PIM. Next, you want to integrate in CI/CD, and at least for core and critical applications, you integrate automatic scanning, container image scanning. You do development training and provide enhancing tooling for application security. Enable container runtime security. So those things need to be done fast. For large organizations, it takes time to scale out across the whole portfolio. So this is what you do on extended period, right? You enable continuous penetration testing and red teaming. Once a year is not enough. You need to be doing this much more often, but first take care of the core. If you didn't build in the security in the CI/CD and you didn't do the basics, it's so easy to break in, right? So those things that are written in middle of the screen are really important to implement soon. Now, threat modeling process need to be implemented. It takes time. It's changes.
К сожалению, у нас пропал звук для нашего спикера. Он практически закончил, то ему буквально
Unfortunately, the sound was lost from our speaker. He almost completed, and 1-2 sentences were left to complete his presentation.
I can't hear you. Anyway, Eugene, thank you very much for your presentation. As I understood, you're almost done at just a couple of sentences left. So, the holy grail of cloud security and Eugene Dzihanau, EPAM. И мы сейчас переходим к новостям.
Right now we're moving to the news about what has happened in SOC, together with Julia and Alexei.